Smell us now, lady.
Welcome to MeatEater Trivia.
MeatEater Podcast.
All right, we're on. Welcome to the June 26th episode of MeatEater Radio Live. It's 11 o'clock here in Bozeman, Montana. It's 8 p.m. for Steve, who's currently in Tanzania, Africa. My kid's got to mow his lawn tomorrow for him. I'm your host, Brody Henderson, and I'm joined by Seth Morris and Cory Calkins. Today, we're going to chat with a Vermont forester about logging and shooting whitetail does. Then we're going to do a little public lands throwback Thursday. And we're going to follow that up with some regional fishing reports and a first ever MeatEater live fishing tournament between Seth and Cory. You guys nervous?
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
I'm not at all.
You shouldn't be.
No, not at all.
It's just going to... This is like just trail breaking stuff here. What you guys are going to do today.
No one's ever done it.
I'd be nervous if I was a fish in that pond right now.
Yep.
They don't know what's coming.
And last, we're going to finish everything up with a funny trail cam photo contest, which should be really, really cool to look at. Before we get to all that, we're going to do a little chit chat like we usually do. What have you guys been up to?
Well, I got a quick question. How well does Steve pay your kids for mowing his lawn?
That was unclear. I asked my kid, like, what did he tell you were getting? He's like, he didn't say anything. So it might be performance-based pay. We'll see.
Well, naturally. Yeah, he's gone for a while.
But then I found out he's got to bag up a bunch of grass because Steve needs to, like, mulch his potatoes or something.
Oh, I hope he charges extra for that.
Yeah, we'll see.
Dirty work.
So, yeah, we got to go over there and do that.
See, what your boy needs to do is just give him an invoice.
I know.
Don't like let Steve set the price, you know?
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
let him
great.
know that.
Yeah.
Seth, you're about to go on a really long plane ride.
Yeah, I'm heading to where Steve's at right now, Tanzania, tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, I don't know how many hours exactly, like 30 some hours of travel.
Where are your stopovers?
Minneapolis, Amsterdam, Kilimanjaro.
That's not so bad.
It's like whatever. From here to Minneapolis is what, 2 and some change,
Yeah.
and then it's 8 hours, 9 hours, and then I think there's some little type of bush plane flight we take into where we're gonna be.
Wow.
Nice.
In the camp.
Well, we'll see you at the end of the summer. I'll see you in Alaska.
Yeah, I'll see you in Alaska. Yeah, gone all summer.
That'll be an adventure, man.
You guys will have to do some fishing for me.
We're heading out this weekend. We're going after some walleye and perch this weekend.
Just don't send me any photos because I'll be jealous.
Okay.
Seth would rather see a picture of a big walleye than like a lion or a giraffe.
Yeah, that's a true story.
I bet.
Cory, been doing anything fun?
Lots of fishing and camping. Trying to get my 7-year-old kid into the lifestyle.
I
of
saw that
angling.
video of him hauling in a trout in a
Yeah.
boat not too long ago. That's pretty cool.
Yep, he's pretty hooked now. We got him Echo's Gecko. It's this little kid's fly rod. It's got a little fighting butt, fiberglass 4-weight, super easy for the kids to cast. Highly recommended if anybody wants to get their kids into fly fishing. It just makes anybody a professional angler. I was shocked that it could land these super heavy, stout, healthy fish on the Missouri.
Bendy
couple weekends ago.
fiberglass rod.
Yeah, very easy to fight.
You gonna
the
use
fish.
it today in the tournament? You should.
I should, but no, I got my kid's other rod, actually. A little 7.5 foot 4-weight.
Cool.
Should do the trick.
Phil,
Oh.
we got our interviewee ready to go.
He is in the waiting room. Yeah, he's ready to go.
Let's talk logging and stuff.
Yeah, let's bring him in.
Okay, today we're joined by a former MeatEater podcast guest, Mike Snyder. Mike served 12 years as the commissioner of Vermont's Department of Forest, Parks, and Recreation, and also as state forester. Today, he's the owner of Greenfire Enterprises, which is an operation that consults on forest conservation, forestry, and outdoor recreation. And he's also a writer who wrote Woods Wise, an exploration of forest and forestry. So, Mike, thanks for joining us, man.
Happy to be here, guys.
I like your shirt.
Yeah, appropriate shirt.
Figure we had to wrap today for that. Seth, good to see you again. Last time we chatted, we were comparing notes on the old dendrology classes.
Yes, sir. Good to see you again.
Thank you. Right on.
Mike, just in case anyone missed the podcast that you were on, can you give us just a brief rundown of your experience in the field of forestry, and then we'll move on to some current event stuff?
Sure. Yeah, I'm a forester. I live here in Vermont. I've been practicing forestry now just 40 years here in a variety of capacities over time. Forest science, forest management, working with private landowners, and then as you mentioned, I was tapped to fill a political role as commissioner of the Department of Forest Parks and Recreation, working closely with the Department of Fish and Wildlife on related matters. And so a couple of years ago, I stepped down from that and have gone back into private practice with my company Greenfire, as you say, consulting on a variety of forestry, conservation, outdoor recreation related topics. I also spent time teaching at UVM, University of Vermont, teaching forestry for a decade and a half, and have been writing for various magazines over time as well. So it's a mixed bag, but pretty much everything I've ever done has been related to the woods one way or another.
So, like, for all those city folks out there, like, what does a forester do? Is it just like looking at a chunk of land and being like, how do we make this healthy? How do we keep this forest healthy? Like, just like what, like, say, as the state forest, well, you said state forest was political, but like, what's an on the ground forester doing?
Yeah, it's a good question, because there is a lot of, it seems over time, I've definitely learned there's misconceptions. There's a lot of ways to be a forester. But the sort of boots on the ground, as you described, the basic field forester is, as you say, it's the folks who kind of take care of the woods, understand, map, inventory, describe, and make decisions and choices about how to get what people need from the woods while taking care of the woods. One good analogy I would draw that's very helpful, I think, is it's rough, but it's reasonable, particularly where you think about forester as differentiated from logger. So like think of like architect and builder. The forester is more like the architect, design, the input on the front end, and then the logger is more like the builder who actually does the tough work of harvesting trees, getting them out of the woods in a careful way. And so, that's how I would describe it. Foresters just are responsible to the landowner and to the land, and kind of agent for land and for landowner. Trying to hold it all together. And, forest health is the root of it, but also the practical realities of people needing stuff from the woods. We use an enormous amount of wood products, a wild range of wood products in our daily lives, even if we don't really know it. And foresters, that's the core of what forestry and foresters are all about.
Cool. Well, since you're a forester, and I'm assuming you worked with a lot of logging operations, so like we've established, you got some subject matter expertise. I wanted to get your thoughts on the recent repeal of the roadless rules that in national forests that are going to open up tens of millions of acres of national forest to logging. There's definitely, like, I believe, some legitimate concerns around this, surrounding like threats to critical wildlife habitat and threats to the headwaters of river drainages that supply clean water to millions of people. But the logging part, it's not so cut and dry. Some folks feel like all logging is going to end up being this like ecological disaster, and there's others that are like, man, it's national forest, like every single acre of it should be used and logged. So, we're not so reliant on Canadian lumber, and you're creating jobs, and then, like, that's legitimate too. So, like, give us your perspective on this, and try to help our listeners understand like when logging is good and when it's bad, like both in practice and in location.
Yeah, there's a lot.
But that's
to
not
unpack
too
there.
much.
No, that's a lot. We got a couple hours.
Yeah.
There's a lot there, right? And so it's like so many things, particularly in nature or wherever biology or ecology are involved. People and policy seem to really want black and white, one size fits all kind of policies and approaches and statements. And forests, all biological systems, they just don't do that. And so here, where we're talking about logging, habitats, management, it's complicated. So I would start there and then say it's nowhere near as simple or black and white as any of us might want to say as when we go to our respective corners and sort of hunker down. Let's start with, I would start with, the forests are incredible. They're complex, they're diverse, they're dynamic, and they don't need us. They're just fine, and they're going to be fine. But the fact is, we need them. And we have been involved with forests for forever. There's never been a time in the history of people when people weren't utterly dependent on wood for a variety of things, basic needs. And that continues. There's no reason to think that's ever going to change. So we have this relationship. And on the one hand, we'd like to say, let's set it aside and leave it be. And then there's the more Leopoldian kind of approach of like, we're part of this community. And that's where forestry comes in. And that's where we have to start thinking with public lands, national forests. The intent is very clear for this multi-use mandate and for wood supply. And so then we just further get into like, well, what, where, when, for what reasons, and proposals to, generally speaking, whether it's roadless rule or doing away with pesky regulations, as it's been called, but just basically an executive order that says, let's increase the amount of timber supply, domestic supply. On its face, I'd say there's some good stuff there. Like it's reasonable to up our, production of domestic wood. We have the resource, we have the wood base, we have the technology, we have the expertise to do it really well. And so any given place where there's a proposal on public lands for logging, it's not logging just because somebody doesn't like trees or enjoys cutting them down. It's to meet massive demands, societal demands and economic needs. And so you got to look at each one. And I would also just say that the public lands managers, the foresters and biologists and hydrologists, that work on public lands, that propose and vet logging projects, they're more than logging projects. They're forest management projects, and logging is a tool to affect various changes in the forest to tweak forest health, to reduce fuel loads, to enhance habitat, to protect water quality. And the wood that comes off is this wonderful byproduct. But these are the most regulated, the most that scrutinized, the quality of silvicultural planning and then implementation. It's the best anywhere, certainly more than on private lands or industrial lands. And so, I would encourage folks to relax a little bit and then look into the details of any given proposal. And then lastly, I would just say this idea that, let's just increase domestic supply. That's, for me, that makes sense on the surface, but that's not what is wrong with or what plagues rural communities where that depend on harvesting. Like, we've lost mills, we've lost workforce, the loggers, the truckers, we lost the mills, the secondary manufacturing facilities, and we can dump a lot of wood back into the system, but there aren't loggers, there aren't truckers, there aren't mills and processing facilities to produce material from those. Then it doesn't do us any good. So that's my big point in all this is we can get all hot and bothered about any given logging project, but it doesn't matter if we don't have the real policy shifts are in workforce and education, rural redevelopment, investment in these facilities that have this conservation effect on the landscape. That's my big point here, would be that forestry is a conservation tool that keeps forests. And it's counterintuitive to most people that we can save forests by cutting trees. But we meet our needs with wood being better than all the alternative materials, plastics, steel, concrete. And that's what we got to get over, is that people, survey after survey, show that people really truly love wood, and people say that wood is the most sustainable material of all. And they're right. But then they say that logging and forestry are the least sustainable. So this is where we gotta lean in. People love wood, but they don't like how we get wood. And that's a big problem. Public lands can play a role in supplying wood and helping us realize that it's done well. It's complicated. Yeah, I guess I'll pause there. Just I know I spit out a lot there, but there's a ton here, and I'm just
plenty of time there. We had plenty of time.
Okay.
Let's jump into hunting next, Mike, if we can. Vermont recently expanded doe hunting opportunities in order to address some overpopulation issues, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And state biologists and ecologists kind of agree that keeping deer numbers in check would lead to healthier herds, healthier forests. We've seen a lot of states go this route in the past couple of decades. And the hunting community, like in general, I would say, has embraced killing more whitetail does as a management tool. But I heard that some Vermont hunters were very opposed to increasing doe harvest.
Yes.
So we're going to get your thoughts there. Like when I was a kid in Pennsylvania, a lot of the old timers frowned on killing does because they thought that meant less bucks in the future. I don't know if it was that way for you, Seth.
Same.
But again, like I feel like in the last couple of decades, last decade for sure, I think most whitetail hunters have turned the corner on that. So it's interesting to me that there's still, a widespread stigma against killing does in Vermont.
You nailed it. And so Vermont, as of now, we have antlerless, with archery, and there's a lottery system for antlerless tags for muzzleloader, but it's verboten. There's never, you don't shoot does during the rifle season. And that's what has recently looks like it's changing. So, and Vermont is the only state in the Northeast, I think all the way through Pennsylvania down in Virginia, that still doesn't allow any antlerless rifle hunting. And so the Fish and Wildlife Board, the Vermont Fish and Wildlife Board, that is charged with setting regulations and developing and enacting those regulations for hunting and fishing and trapping, things like seasons, bag limits, methods of taking, license fees. That's the body that makes these decisions. And since last time, it's been 40 years since there was any doe season, and that's back in the mid 80s during rifle, and it was highly contentious then. There were more deer and more hunters then, and so you're right. Now they have these deer density targets for various management units around the state, and they're finding that we have fewer hunters and more deer, and that's a problem for habitat and for healthy forests. And so they've been suggesting this, and it's been no. The traditional philosophy is you don't shoot doe. And so a couple weeks ago at its last board meeting, the department proposed about 7 changes to the deer management rule. And the board, so this was the second vote. In February, they voted. That's the first vote to say, okay, let's go forward with public comment and the process. And that opened up this can of worms, and it's very contentious. And many of my buddies, hunting pals, they're dead set against it. But they went for it, and they came back. And then 2 weeks ago, they had a meeting. They had a vote, and it was highly contentious. And it's a 14-member board, and this component passed 8-6. And so with quite a lot of controversy and contention. So that's the second vote. That is the most important, meaningful vote. It now goes to the Legislative Committee on Administrative Rules, and then it'll go back to the board for the third vote, which is usually kind of pro forma. So
is it not a done deal yet?
Correct. That's what I'm trying to say. The big step just happened, which I spoke with the director of Fish and Wildlife yesterday, and he indicated this generally means it's going forward. But yeah, there are a couple more steps, and then it would go into effect if passed fully and as it is expected to do now, this was the last big hurdle. It'll be fall of 26 where these go into effect. And there's a number of related rules, but this was the big one: the antlerless permits to be used during the regular 16-day rifle season in November.
Has Vermont experienced, like, is their deer herd like on a big upward climb? Like there's like, is there too many? I mean, too many is obviously, it depends on who you're talking to.
It is, and it's amazing, right? This is a small state. You guys are in Montana. This is a really small state, and yet even here we have wide-ranging habitat conditions and populations. So by management unit around the state, there are some that have, the biologists even indicate, we foresters have been kind of whining about this for some time, locally overabundant, leading to significant overbrowsing, which is not good for forests, but it's certainly not good for deer herds either.
Right.
So yes, in some places, and that's why they want to do these deer density unit targets by unit. This reg would apply to all but the far northeastern portion of the state, because generally the population trends are going up. Hunter effort is down, winter severity is down, the various factors they put into their model, which are all pointing toward increased herd size, decreased hunting, and wanting to get this back in balance with their habitat.
Right. Well, myself, I hope it goes through. I think people tend to forget about this kind of stuff fairly quickly, and in 10 years, if the doe hunting thing goes through, it won't be an issue anymore. That's my take on it anyway.
Yeah, and I think, like you say, it's contentious, and there's a lot of folks that are not into it. There have been runs made at this over the last, few decades, and they do surveys, and it's been slowly changing, where hunters are saying, before it was everybody was against it, then there's some for it, and now it's about half. And the board heard from their constituents ultimately, and I think for some of them it was really hard. But there's still a bunch who say it's really a safety issue. Vermont was behind in this regard as well. We don't require hunter orange. And so there's this sort of brown is down fear that it's going to be crazy out there come rifle season. As I understand it, that's a big piece of the concerns against, even because the culture has shifted, as you suggest, to, we get this a little bit more now, that maybe we need to shoot some does a bit more than just with bow and arrow.
Yep. All right. I understand that you're going on the hunt of a lifetime this fall out in our area, and one of our country's most impressive public land destinations, the Bob Marshall Wilderness.
Indeed.
What are you going after? Deer, elk? You doing this on your own, or are you getting a guide?
Yeah,
Tell us about this.
I'm so excited, and you rightly called it a hunt of a lifetime. This is not something I've done. I've hunted in Montana and in the West elsewhere, but this is a pack string hunt, guided, fully, outfitted. We're going in the Bob Marshall, 7 days of hunting, deer, elk, 3 good buddies, excellent hunters that I have been. We're more trackers here in the Northeast. We don't, sit on stands, and so this is just going to be super different. And I have to say, each one of us is completely freaked out at the prospect of being lame for 3 or 4 days after being on a horse. I know which end the food goes in, and I'm pretty sure which end the food comes out. That's the end of my horsemanship knowledge.
Well, I mean, it's the Bob is a super cool place, so that alone will make the trip worth it for you, I think.
That's how we see it. Is like, no matter what, this is going to be great, right? I mean, just great.
Watch out for grizzlies.
You guys have for getting ready for this.
Well, Cory here used to guide in the Bob, so.
Yeah, Mike, I guided in there for a decade. I'm not going to ask where you're going because it's all gnarly and rugged, but yeah, get ready for the toughest hunt of your life.
I'm ready. I'm going to be ready. This is super motivating, right? I mean, and then talking with the outfitter, just like, I don't know, I don't shoot at 400 yards very often. I don't even know how to train for that. So that's my biggest fear, is sort of being ready for a good shot at distance, because that's just not something that I have a lot of experience with.
Well, yeah, depending on what end of the wilderness you're in, the area I was in, our average shot was 60 to 80 yards with a
That's
rifle.
what I'm talking about.
Because we're hunting during the rut, as you know. So
Right. No, this
Yeah,
is just
obviously.
so exciting. I don't know if I dropped that to somebody. I'm really glad you brought it up, Brody. That's just like, you can imagine my excitement, right?
Yep. Well, Mike, thanks for checking in with us, and good luck on that hunt.
Yeah, good luck, Mike.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Take it easy. All right, we're gonna move on. Man, unless you've been living under a rock in like Senator Mike Lee's backyard, you probably know what's going on with his attempts to sell off our public lands. It's like ever changing. There's been like 3 different versions of it this week, but he's still going after that stuff. But just in case you're not aware of what's going on, like, hop on our website, read the article, follow Cal on Instagram, and he'll keep you up to date. But just to show people like how important this stuff is and what's at stake, me and the boys here are going to remind you about it and share some of our favorite public land hunting. Did you guys do any fishing or just hunting?
I just did hunting / yeah.
Yeah.
mine's neither.
Yours is
I threw a little
neither.
twist
Oh,
in
you
there.
threw a little
Just a little-
twist, a little hiking, biking kind of stuff.
Hiking. Yep, not a biker.
Gotcha. Anyway, we're going to share some pictures and tell a little story and kind of let you know why public lands are important to us. Cory, since you're not a hunter anymore, why don't you start off?
Well, I'm going to throw this all the way back to last
Did I screw you up there, Phil, by having Cory go first?
Probably.
Oh no, it's fine. I can change things on the fly. It's good.
All right.
Phil's like a chameleon. He can adapt. Anyway, I'm going to throw this all the way back to last Wednesday.
Ooh, long time ago.
Yeah.
Right. A few colleagues and myself teamed up with the Station Foundation, which is an amazing organization made up of special operations vets and other highly trained professionals that help transition our nation's special ops forces and their families get back to normal civilian life, which includes a multi-day retreat here in Montana, which includes 1 day of hiking this 10,000-foot peak just south of Bozeman. So 3 of us from MeatEater here.
Is that within the 5 mile corridor or whatever border thing that Mike
Not
Lee's like,
quite.
oh,
Not quite.
Not quite,
It's
but
a
it's
little
close.
further.
It's
but
close to town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from the top, I mean, you can see one of our busier towns in this city, or excuse me, in this state of Montana. Not Bozeman, but
Right.
Anyway, it was a really amazing experience. There was 30 of us that summited this peak. Kids ranging from 8 to 15, I think, and then a bunch of their dads and some of the other volunteers for the Station Foundation climbed this 10,000-foot peak. Hats off to all those kids who made it up there. My 7-year-old kid wouldn't have made it halfway up there, and there were these 8-year-old kids who just kicked its ass last Wednesday. A beautiful day. Couldn't have had better weather. There's a view. All that you can see right there in that photo is public land, so keep your hands off of it. Damn it.
Nice. Seth, what do you got for us?
Oh, I got a photo of a mountain lion. This is the first mountain lion I've ever encountered in my life. Have seen multiple since then, but this was 2017, I believe. Was hunting. This was during archery season. It was September in Montana here, hunting some public land, national forest, and weren't hearing many bugles that day. So we're kind of just still hunting through some timber, and kind of out of nowhere, a few cows and a couple calf elk kind of filtered past us. So we kind of hunkered down, thinking there might be a bull behind them or whatnot, and
This was all pretty new experience for you. Too,
oh yeah,
coming
this
from
was
back
like
east, right?
yeah, this was my first archery season.
Like all this public land to just go.
Yeah, I'd moved in 2016, but this was the first time I had like my resident license for archery season. And so these elk kind of moved past us, and we hunkered down just to see what was going to happen next. And I kind of look over and I see something brown like moving kind of on the same trail where these elk could just come by. It's probably, I don't know, maybe a minute later. And sure as shit, it was this mountain lion. And it was like hunting those elk, which was cool. And this photo here was taken through a pair of binoculars with a cell phone.
Oh, cool.
And
Turned out pretty good.
yeah, it turned out pretty good. And so this thing, it came to about 50 yards of us, and once it like noticed we were there, it like did the cat just like hunker, like it just sunk to the ground, like put its belly on the ground, and just sat there for a couple minutes just staring at us, and like we weren't moving. So it I don't think it really knew what we were at first, and then finally it just like got up and ran off. But yeah, it was.
That's one that
It was
sticks
so
with
cool.
you.
Yeah, it was awesome experience.
Sweet.
All on
cool.
public land.
Yep.
Nice shot.
I guess that leaves me. This year is going to be, it'll be 20 years I've been out west hunting. And, man, I don't know. Like, I like, let's say in 20 years I've killed, I don't know, let's say like 50 big game animals or something like that. I think only 4 or maybe 5 of those animals were killed on private land. I've got nothing against hunting on private land. It's how I grew up. But when I came out and to the West and was like, I have all this stuff to hunt, and 20 years later, here I am. These pictures are my older boy, his firsts that he's had all on public land in the last few years. So like this is his first ever deer, a mule deer buck that he got on public land. I don't know what Phil has teed up next. This was his first elk last year on public land. Antelope, that's his first antelope with his little bro there with him. Nice. And then I think the last photos, me and him, we doubled on turkeys last year. The reason I picked these photos is because like those firsts are super important, and like that kid only knows hunting on public land. Like we don't have a bunch of friends with big private ranches and access to a bunch of private land. Like this is how this kid hunts, and if that stuff gets taken away, that's getting taken away from him. I'm not so worried about myself, but like those opportunities will be taken away from him and a bunch of other kids and first-time hunters, and on top of that, all the other people that recreate on public land. So those are the pictures that I chose, and that's why I chose them.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Yep, it's not worth it.
Nope. What's the chat have to say about all that, Phil?
A lot of people yelling about protecting public land, calling your senator, a handful of Canadians who are worried for us.
Is Brent Reeves still lurking in there, not working?
He hasn't said anything for a while, so I think he's probably, I don't know,
Back at the grind,
doing
I'm
something
sure.
with a knife or recording a podcast.
Yeah.
But let's see here. We got to get your questions in. This has been a question light episode. But if you have any questions for the crew, let me know. But Colton asks, Seth, what's the plan for y'all's time in Tanzania?
I know Steve's buffalo hunting, so we'll spend a big chunk of time doing that, and then I think he wants to kill a warthog too. Other than that, I don't know. I think we're just gonna be hiking around the bush a bunch, and
You guys are there for a long time, right?
yeah, we're there
almost 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's quite a chunk of time. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he gets those things early, we're gonna go after other things.
I got a question for you.
What's that?
If one of those water buffalo charges Steve and you're right over his shoulder with that camera, what are you going to do?
Oh, I'm gonna drop the camera again.
That's what I was wondering. That's what I was getting at.
I will also say, too, that we are going to have a handful of bonus podcast episodes coming out around the Africa
Not
trip.
water buffalo, Cape buffalo.
Cape Buffalo, yeah.
Buffalo. So they're going to be kind of sort of diaries from the field with Steve and various members of the crew that are going to be on the trip, Seth included. Dirt Myth as well, so look forward to those ones. And then we're going to have a big old normal podcast episode at the end of the trip, and then I'm sure you guys can look forward to some video content down the road, but that stuff takes a few months to put together. But
yeah.
but
This is all for season 13 of MeatEater.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm gonna stick close to whoever has that double barrel rifle.
Yeah, that's a smart plan.
Yeah.
Noah asks, Brody, what was your favorite thing to do outdoors-wise in PA?
Well, I mean, I can never answer these questions. Like hunting and fishing. I did more fishing just because I was younger when I was there, but I did a lot of hunting too.
This guy's asked this question before, and I don't remember if you guys were in the room when he asked it, but he wants an answer from everyone on the crew, and I'll give him that opportunity. But he says, "What animal do you shamelessly wish was a game animal, but is not and will never be?"
Whales.
That's a good answer.
Well, they're game animals for some people, I guess. That is not something I've ever even considered.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Can tourists? That's pretty. I'm shamelessly saying that, but it's tourist season here in Montana, but I can't seem to find a tag. So.
Yeah.
What else would be good? I'm trying to think.
Wild horses.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wild horses.
That's
would be
mine.
Good.
Yeah, that'd be good. Got some here in Montana.
To the dad, this is from Alaska Highboy. Any books for kids? And I mean, I think it goes without saying some of the ones that Brody wrote that I'm sure he'll mention. But
those are pretty good.
Those are solid. He says he's got an almost 1-year-old and he's tired of all the cutesy, far from accurate wildlife books.
That's a tough one for me, man. It's so little. I don't even we just read our 1-year-old all sorts of stuff. I don't know that there's outdoor specific books that we were reading to our kids at that age.
Yeah, same. I know there's some out there, but we didn't read any. Now he's too old for those little kids books.
Yeah. Tough one.
Question for Cory. It's from Figuring It Outdoors. That's a good, solid name there. This guy, he got too excited and didn't even finish his question, but he says, Spring Bear Scope Magnification, SFP or FFP, and best all-around cartridge, and then he stops. But I think you can answer some of those if you would like to.
Oh, yeah, I like the second focal plane. 4 to 15 is plenty. If you're shooting anywhere over 300 yards, you might want to zoom in a little bit more than 12 power, but you certainly don't need it. Depending on where you're hunting, too. If you're shooting close quarters, you might not even need a scope. And then best all-around cartridge is the 300 Winchester Magnum. Period.
Gotcha.
There you go. Cory has spoken.
Let's see here. Just kind of these are coming in hot and heavy. Trying to pick them out. Dan the Outdoorman. Question for the crew: any unwanted interactions with the environmental police while hunting or fishing? Any complicated laws gotten you in trouble before?
Nope. All my interactions with game wardens have been very pleasant because I haven't had any reason to be in trouble.
Yeah, same. As a fishing guide, we'd get pulled over all the time, making sure I was licensed and my anglers had their fishing licenses and we had enough life jackets in the boat. But it was always a pleasant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never had any bad. There's one time we had a weird interaction with a park ranger in a spot where we were hunting.
Yeah, I remember
close
that.
to a park, and it seemed like the guy just didn't like hunters.
Right.
I was with you on that one.
But
that
wasn't that wasn't a game warden.
No, it wasn't a game warden. It was just a weird interaction with authority.
We'll do one more Africa question, then we can move it along. Max says, question for Seth: will you get any opportunities to hunt in Tanzania?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No.
It's usually the Steve show down there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna shoot with
Yeah,
your
it's
camera.
too expensive, I think. To get critters over there.
Cool.
All right, we'll check back in with those guys towards the end of the show. Our next segment is new. We're going to do kind of a regional summer fishing report.
Yeah, so we've got a handful. We got a couple remote check-ins from some crew members. Let's take a
Phil,
look.
it says pause for sound here. Do you got a song or not?
No, I don't have a sound. I don't know.
Come on.
That was somebody.
Make one up right now, Phil.
That was somebody casting a line and hoping that something would bite.
All right. We'll come up with a song for that one.
You
Maybe.
and me going fishing in the dark.
There you go.
We didn't play this one. I'll just play this one.
Oh, we didn't. I didn't give you time to play it earlier.
That's okay.
Throwback, I can't believe
Fishing report.
There you go. Bite the hook.
All right.
We're live.
So
What's
we're
up,
going to start
Meat Eater
out.
Live?
Oh, sorry, Brody.
I'm Bear Newcomb. Coming
Bear
at you
Newcomb.
It's
live
falling apart.
from
It's
the
Can't even
water. Doing a lot
introduce
of
these
fishing.
guys.
But as it's been getting hotter, the rivers, they've been shrinking down, obviously, and the fish have been getting more concentrated. I've noticed that the smallies, they've started to run in big groups, going after bait balls, some minnows, any sort of streamer. Those have been working well, crawdads. Also, this time of year, if you're looking to catch a big trophy smallie, night fishing is super effective. On the trout side of things, the sulfur hatch is in full swing. I've been hearing from some of my guide buddies that they are going more after the dry flies and the emergers. And then this time of year, you will find the long-eared sunfish are in full bloom. They're as vibrant as ever, looking like something straight out of the Amazon rainforest. So get out there, go get them. Good luck to everyone this week who's going out there to fish. Stay safe, and hey, keep it public.
Yeah, buddy.
God, he sounds like Clay.
He's a way better angler than Clay. I'll tell
Yeah,
you
that's
that.
true.
Well, that sounds pretty good.
I'll let you tee this one up, Brody. I apologize.
We're bringing in, thank you, because I came up with a good one.
okay.
We're bringing in Chester, the walleye molester from Wisconsin, to let us know what's going on out there.
Hello, everybody. Chester Floyd coming at you from northern Wisconsin. Here's your northern Wisconsin muskie fishing report. With the weather being so inconsistent in northern Wisconsin, the fish have kind of been inconsistent too, but big fish are being caught. Once you find them one day, they could be gone and move the next day. So the key is to move around a bunch till you find those fish. I'm going to focus on main lake points, kind of main lake humps. If I can find weeds on those, all the better. Some baits that have been working have been topwater baits, jerk baits, like a squirrely tail hellhound here. Soon enough, the rubber bite and the bucktail bite should pick up with the weather, leveling out and being more consistent. I haven't been out a lot recently, so I got this information from my buddy Gus Manti with sugsfishing.com. He's a guide up here, but I hope you guys can get out on the water, and hopefully this information helps you catch a big old muskie. See ya.
Very professional report from
Thanks,
Chester
Chet.
there.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Wow.
He's in his new fancy Lund. I'm jealous of that boat.
Oh.
Seth, I know you don't got a report because you're all mad that you haven't been fishing.
Well, I have been fishing,
Yeah?
but it's not worth a report, so
Gotcha.
So it's been tough.
it's been tough for me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Corey?
Man, I've been fly angling on some of our local waters around here, and it's been amazing. Really
Yeah.
good. Runoff's over with a little early this year. Water temps are just right for now.
Ooh.
Getting river temps just right. I wish it was end of July, not the end of June with
Right.
these water temps.
We've already
but I'm
got
talking
some-
like right now is the time, because in 3 weeks there might not be a lot of
Yeah.
angling to be done.
We've already got some hoot owl restrictions going on.
Yeah, but it's good.
Shutting stuff down.
It's really good right now.
I've been out a little bit. Planning on heading out this weekend to one of our favorite lakes for perch and walleye. Here it's picking up, so I'll have a report for you later after that.
Yeah, we'll have to do this again.
Yep.
Well, I do kind of have a report.
All right, let's hear it.
I guess you call it that. I've been keeping track of what's going on with the local Montana walleye circuit,
Oh yeah.
and holy crap, some big numbers this year.
I saw the numbers from Tiber.
Phew.
Holy cow.
Yeah,
Really?
big numbers.
140-pound bag.
143 pounds for the winning bag.
So that's 10 fish, yeah?
10 fish.
Whoa.
That's
Dang. That's some
some
consistent-
Do the math in your head there.
Yeah.
And figure out
I
what
need
the
a
average
calculator,
weight
but It's
was.
a lot. Cool. That's
Yep.
good to hear.
Yeah, sounds like the walleye fishing, other than where I've been fishing, has been good.
Yep. Yeah. All right, we're going to stick with the fishing theme for this next section. We're not doing 1 minute fishing because it never seems to work out. I'm really over it. We're going to
Don't
do
tell
something
Spencer.
different.
Yeah.
This is going to be really exciting for everyone. First of its kind, live fishing contest between Seth and Cory. We've got our own trout pond right out here behind MeatEater HQ.
That's what it is.
Seth's going to be out there with his spin pole, and Cory's going to take his fly rod. But I am picking their lure/fly for them.
I'm nervous about that.
Me too.
You shouldn't be. I thought about being mean, but I'm not going to be mean.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a choice.
Ooh, I like options.
Cory, if you can't catch fish with one of these two things, like I'm going to be really embarrassed
I can
for
tell
you.
Cory's happy
Either
already.
an olive or
Happy
black
camper.
woolly bugger.
Yep.
And then Seth, a little panther martin
Yep.
or a little Castmaster, both of which are
Oh, now that's
pretty good
cheating
choices.
there.
What do you
mean? Oh, I like that.
I mean,
We did a little pre-fish yesterday, and
I'm a little worried. I need the heavier one. 'Cause I didn't bring
that's
any
what you
lead.
get.
I
man.
know. I get it. I was ready for whatever. They're pretty aggressive out there. Mostly brook trout that we can find. I know
Yep.
somebody caught a cutthroat in there at one point, right?
I caught a sucker in there one time.
Okay.
On a spinner.
Nice.
Yeah.
You don't know. Okay, so
So
know.
choose your weapon, man.
yeah. Okay.
I'm
good.
going with the Panther Martin.
I'm going with the olive woolly bugger.
All right. Run out there and catch
let's
some
go.
fish.
Now, here we go.
Timer goes.
Is this like first fish?
I guess I just got to sit here while they're out fishing.
Who wins? How do we know who wins? Biggest? I don't know.
It's the first time we've had the follow cam. I'm not sure how the audio is going to be. We're getting some echo cancellation stuff
That's
happening.
all right. They'll get the gist of it.
Of course, we're entering the cell signal black hole behind our building here. Oh, there's some music I can play.
We prepared yesterday.
They can't hear me, can they? No.
Oh yeah, we
Gotcha.
Oh, you can step out there away from the building. We got some interference.
Speaking of interference,
Gorgeous pond out there, like I don't know, quarter of an acre. Getting full of weeds and moss right now.
How much time do we have left?
I don't have the timer.
Is there a timer? I thought it was just the first person to catch
No,
a
it's
fish.
supposed to be 5 minutes.
Oh, 5 minutes. They'll do it.
Our
before that.
cameraman is supposed to be running the timer out there.
Hello.
Oh, they got
do we
some
have
company out there?
Oh, they do.
Oh, nice. Someone enjoying the pond. It's the first time I've seen that.
Okay, Cory's. Is that Seth? Or
He's
Cory?
not
I
even
can't
picking a
tell.
spot.
This is
He's
horrible
just,
video.
going for it. Seth jumped him. There's a little inlet over there. Where he let
Sorry,
it
it's
stack
gonna be
up.
loud, guys. I'm turning that down here. We play the Price is Right music. All right, Brody, we're gonna need commentary from you because I can't
Oh, no,
shoutcast
yeah,
a
it's-
fishing competition.
Corey's trying to rip some line off and cover that whole pond without getting tangled up in the grass. Seth, there's a little creek inlet to Seth's left where they like to stack up. So Seth, I think, jumped in there ahead of Cory. There's definitely like a lot of weeds and moss in that thing that could prove challenging for these boys.
Okay.
Cory's doing a lot of casting and not much fishing. Seth just looks like he's out there enjoying himself, just taking a little break from work.
Yeah, this is a big middle finger to the audio listeners, even more so than 1 minute fishing. If this is going to be 5 minutes, so if you're an audio listener, enjoy this royalty-free music, or hop on over to YouTube where you can watch the video version where we have a very grainy video of the pond.
Oh, he's hooked up. He's hooked up. He's putting a bend in his rod too. Putting a bend in the rod. got him.
He's got it.
Monster. Don't kill that thing with that treble hook, Seth. Is that a cutthroat or a brookie?
it's a brookie.
Nice. I should have made you fellas debarb those hooks.
Yeah.
Oh, there he's back in the water. Oh, Cory, you feeling the pressure now?
Yeah, I'm checking.
Cory's bailing on his spot. I don't know if he's going to run around to the other side of the pond.
We got our cameraman chasing Cory.
Oh, this is like what was that cop show? It's like that
Cops.
Yeah.
Or Cloverfield.
Yeah.
Don't get sick.
Okay, right now we're sitting at 1-0. Spin, Seth's spin rod versus Cory's fly pole.
Oh, Seth's following Cory.
Yeah. Cory just, or Seth just needs to stand next to Cory wherever he goes and just cast.
Did you have a favorite going into this, Brody, based on the lure?
You know, I've never even fished this little pond. I honestly, my money was on Cory, because in this kind of water, like, you can just, like, I think you're more effective with a little fly, but I mean, Seth's already proven me wrong, so. Also, this is like the worst time of day to be doing this, like middle of the day, hot, bright sun.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you were out there early in the morning or the evening, you'd get a lot more action.
So it's still 1-0 Seth, I believe.
We're going to wrap this thing up early if we don't get some action soon. Seth just casted right over Cory's line. A lot of false casting from Cory. A lot of false casting.
You sound pretty judgmental about that, Brody. Why is that?
Because your fly needs to be in the water, not the air.
Mm.
You boys seeing any fish rising out there?
Yeah, we just had one rise out in the middle here.
But drop that spinner right on his head.
I think Cory's giving up.
Really? Just can't hack it out there? Too many weeds and stuff getting in his way?
Yeah. Cory said no.
All right, well, we got a winner. Cory gave up. He looks mad.
Oop.
There's the timer.
The timer that didn't exist. All right.
I promise people we're going to work out something exciting for this fishing segment eventually.
Yeah, we're trying new things. It doesn't help that the video looks like absolute trash. We tried to remedy that. We actually bought some wireless HDMI transmitters, and those did not work very well. Some sort of signal thing happening. Boys, welcome back.
How'd that look, Phil?
Terrible.
Oh, no.
So you're gonna have to tell us about it.
Oh.
I don't know if you could
give us a rundown.
When I was releasing that fish, I don't know if you could hear it, but there's a lady behind me saying, "Release it nicely, gently, gently. Put it in
We did
gently."
not hear that.
Yeah, we had some spectators. There were some lawnmowers.
What was your challenge out there? Your biggest challenge, Cory?
Mine was just the weeds that I had to deal with managing my line, which
you should have waded right in there.
I thought about it. Not really. Yesterday we went and tested the water just to make sure there was actually fish in it.
I saw that. Like, you're doing a little pre-fish and beating them up out there. You could have caught those fish today.
That could have been what happened. I
Yeah.
think I caught 4 yesterday.
There you go.
Pretty quickly. Or it was
you
your
go.
all of the selection fly. Maybe I should have went with the black one. But either way, nice work, Seth.
I thanks. I wasn't catching anything until I sent one all the way up into where that
creek
the
comes
creek.
in.
Yep.
Yep.
And then I could see him. He missed it a few times. I could see it flashing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then it got him.
Cool.
What a rush.
Bit of an upset, I'd say, Seth. Nice work.
Oh.
I was kind of nervous because yesterday Cory was crushing him on the
Yeah,
fly.
that was a purple bugger.
I can't be sure, but my guess is there's probably like 10 or 12 fish in that entire thing.
That's a good guess.
Seems like it.
That might be overkill, actually. Yeah, half a dozen.
I keep saying I'm gonna during the winter I'm gonna drill a hole and
Yep.
put the live scope down in there and just see what's going on.
Yeah.
But it's just hard to motivate me to do that for a
Oh.
couple of brookies.
For sure. Yeah, that was cool.
All right. Well, good job, boys.
Oh, thanks.
We're going to move on to our trail cam photo contest.
Oh man.
Here we go. It's going to be big. It's brought to us by our friends at Moultrie. And for the first round, we ask you guys to send us your funniest photos. We got hundreds of submissions, so choosing the top 5 was difficult. We saw shots, multiple folks taking a dump in the woods.
Oof.
Yeah, that's like not. I don't know. I don't find that funny. Deer, raccoon, squirrel, bear fornication. That's funny. Topless female hiker, not funny. But whatever. Anyway, Cory, you looked through all these, didn't you?
I looked through all of them last night with a tall glass of whiskey. So thanks to everybody for putting all these in. I'd say there were like 350 submissions.
Are you damaged from it, or are you doing all right?
I mean,
were there
some
any
weird
that
stuff?
just made you laugh out loud?
yeah, there were. Like,
Are we going to see them?
yeah, the couple that made me laugh out loud made it in here. There was a lot that should have made it in here, but it was tough to select 5. Yeah, again, thanks to everybody for submitting. We're going to do this again next month, maybe with a different theme, so stay tuned. But yeah.
So I'll tell people let's announce what they're getting after we look at the picture.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Build up the excitement.
All right, are we ready to see photo number 1 here?
Photo number 1. Now the chat, if you guys can give us your thoughts on your funniest picture, please.
Yeah, you guys are going to decide the winner. We're not deciding the winner. So Phil's going to do some quick math as you guys vote for these.
I'm going to try to start a poll. I think I can add five options on the poll, but I might be limited to 4.
This one
So we'll see how
is
this goes.
we can say these people's names, right?
Yeah.
Branson McAtee, he's calling this the Ninja Squirrel.
I mean, look at that capture.
I wonder what is he trying to land on the turkey's back, or what's? I wonder what's going on.
It
there.
looks like he's going full American Ninja Warrior on this turkey.
That is
Turkey doesn't look
hilarious.
too concerned about.
I wish
the
that
whole
was
thing.
a video.
I know that would be amazing.
We
great
can do
to know
that
what
next
happened
time.
after, but I cracked up to this one. I mean, what a great shot!
Yeah,
what a capture.
Just squirrels. Squirrels just do weird stuff when you're.
They're funny.
When you're sitting in a tree stand back east, you just watch squirrels do weird stuff, which is cool.
Okay, Ninja Squirrel.
All right, number 2. This is from Level 19. Late Night Taco.
It's really hard to tell what's
Come
going
on,
there.
is this real?
I was worried we had some AI generated photos, but it's hard to say what's happening here.
I
Yeah,
bet
what
that's
is
just
happening here?
it's like a bug that's
yeah,
flying
it might be
by
something-
close to the camera. And it just happened to be a right spot, right time.
Maybe.
I'd like to think
Slow
that's
shutter.
what it is, Seth. I'm gonna not be a Debbie Downer and say this was like
This one had the second
Fake.
most likes on the website.
It looks like is that a palmetto right there?
yeah, it's somewhere south.
Yeah.
Good call.
All right, number 3.
Number 3, we've got coming from Michael Homentree, Kid Menace.
Is he just
is
flipping off
doing
the
the
camera?
I think he's doing the shocker.
Oh
Oh, he might
gosh.
be.
I can't tell.
I feel like this kid is just driving by a camera he knows is there that his dad has out, and he's just like,
Or he's
you did.
trespassing.
So yeah, we had a lot of wild game images, but some really great like home security photos that were hilarious. And this one just seemed like it was obviously set up maybe for turkeys or deer. And this kid who's supposedly
well, it's like in a neighborhood. There's like houses and stuff back there. Isn't
yeah.
there?
And I remember the guy mentioning that this kid is supposed to be on the street, and he keeps kind of like taking a shortcut.
Oh,
through
he
this
found,
road.
and then he found that camera. He's just brutalizing
Yeah.
that guy now.
I couldn't help.
Maybe
but
it's
chuckle
more
at
funny
that
now.
one, so.
All right, here's number 4. This is the one.
We've got Brian Kalb, Yoda.
This is the one that I do not think is a trail cam photo.
Okay, so Brian said, and Brody, you've met Brian before. He made
I
sure
have.
to mention this. Yep, I'll forward you the email. But he was doing a Purdue University project where they were learning how to scientifically survey wildlife populations using trail cameras. And this trail camera was a 35 millimeter film camera that they were using. But a buddy
it was
of
just
his
set up as an I
Yep.
gotcha.
Yeah, but a buddy of his played a joke and put on the Yoda mask and obviously captured something other than what they were going for here. But
That's creepy.
I thought it was funny. It was that Phil. That one was for you.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thanks for the shout out. I like to feel included,
Someone was having fun with that one.
All right, number 5. Like, how can this not be funny?
Yeah.
Like a bear shitting in the woods is just funny.
If you zoom in close too, you can really. I think you can.
I wish
see
I had a zoomed in one.
I don't want to influence people's vote, but this one gets my vote.
I like it not because he's shitting, but his facial expression looking into the camera.
Yeah, he's like, I got caught.
He looks quite embarrassed.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's like up on, I feel like he's working pretty hard because he's up on hind legs, man.
Yeah.
Like he's really getting after it.
I was impressed by that too.
Okay, so here are the limitations of the poll. I can only give 4 options, so I think as a room we eliminate our least favorite.
Yoda.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Brian. I understand we met, but that picture's, I don't like it.
All right, so we are eliminating Yoda. I'm going to start the poll here in a few seconds.
So 1, 2.
Here we go.
3 or 5.
1, 2, 3, or 5. Poll is going live right now. Please vote in the live chat, and we will.
Do we want to mess
find out
around
who the
with?
winner is.
Can we do a little feedback while?
Of course, yes.
While,
please do.
People are voting. That'll give us something to do.
Let's see. We got a question from Mogor. Hey, Mogor.
Hey, Mogor.
Says, hi, Seth. What camera are you currently using? Do you bring a lot of photography gear when you travel or just one reliable setup? Thank you.
A7R5 for the main camera. Backup is an A7R4. I got a 70-200 lens, 24-70, and a 16-35. Yeah, that's my setup. Bunch of batteries, some filters. Yeah, that's about it. Not super complicated, but
Sounds complicated to me.
well,
You're a professional.
yeah.
Spencer, not our Spencer in the chat, has an idea. He says we should do an outdoor obstacle course. Catch a fish, catch a loose chicken in a fishing net, then pluck a duck.
First, we got to catch a fish. So, like the other stuff, it'd be great to do the other stuff. First,
But we never
fish.
get there, yeah.
This was an idea last winter, actually. We were going to include ice skating, drilling holes in the ice, and then first one to drop their line in the ice. But it would have been too much. We would have needed more than a couple minutes.
Question from Matt. He says, how do you like to answer non-hunters who ask you, did you catch a big one, when you get home from hunting season?
I don't. I just I just tell them. I'm not gonna try and make them feel stupid. You know.
Yeah. I would just say we kill them, not catch them. Unless you're lion hunting or something.
Yeah.
Captain Texas says, Seth, what is the most challenging part about filming other people hunting?
I would say just trying not to be the guy that ever spooks the animal, you know?
Yep.
Which over time you learn. Typically I don't move unless Steve moves. So there's never he can't turn around and be like, you spooked it. I'd be like, well, I was doing the same thing you were doing. So
do you notice a difference between, because Steve's very aware, I used to work on the camera crew way back, and Steve's very aware of the camera guys and how the whole thing works.
Mm-hmm.
And there's got to be you've got to have expectations for the hunters too, right? Do you notice a way big difference between filming Steve and filming a guest hunter who's never been filmed before? As far as challenges they present to you?
I mean, yes and no. Filming someone that's never been filmed before, they just think, I feel like most people just think it's impossible to kill something with that many people.
Right.
And you'll get guys that are don't move, don't. And it's
and you already know
it's
that.
we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of one thing with new people. But and Steve's it depends on the animal too, but he's just, I think we always use guys that have been with us forever and know the game and know how to be quiet, and so he typically doesn't yell at us or anything.
Not anymore.
Sometimes he does, but
yeah.
It all depends.
Mark says, guys, I want to send a mule deer hide off to get processed, hair on. It's currently wrapped and in the freezer. How long is that going to be good for before I need to ship it off?
As long as it's frozen.
Yeah, for a long time. Forever.
Cool. We'll do one more and then we'll see how the poll is going. Max, not our Max, says, how'd y'all get started with MeatEater? Was there an application, an interview process, or were y'all picked because of your individual skills? I think we each have a different path to how we got
Yeah.
here.
I'll start since I'm the oldest. I used to guide with Giannis in Colorado. Giannis moved to Alaska through a mutual friend, got hooked up with Steve, and became a production assistant. A few years later, they needed help on the Stars in the Sky shoot. Giannis approached me. That's how I got my start. And one thing led to another, and I started writing with Steve. That was 10 years ago.
Yeah, mine was semi-similar. Good friend of mine and also one of our colleagues presented the job offer to me. It was during COVID when I was guiding fishermen and hunters when I wasn't quite sure if that industry was going to last a whole lot longer. Just we weren't letting out-of-staters into the state, so things were really weird. So I tried to get a different job, I guess, more steady job. And yeah, that was 5 years ago now.
Nice. Yeah, mine was MeatEater was just looking for a production assistant to help out on shoots and haul gear and make
How'd
sandwiches.
you find out about it, though?
A mutual friend.
Yeah.
Recommended a mutual friend that knew Giannis and Steve and whatnot.
Yeah.
Recommended me to them, and
Yep.
yeah, just kind of got on a phone call with Giannis, and rest was history. That was
There you go.
2018 Washington elk hunt was the my first shoot ever.
Phil?
Oh, I got burnt out working in TV and applied via Indeed.com.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah, and I had audio experience, and I was worried they wouldn't want me because I didn't hunt. And Giannis, my first interview was with Giannis. He said that does not matter. I said thank God, and that was 6 years ago now. So yeah,
There we go.
All right, let's see who had the best trail cam photo. In last place with 6% of the vote, we have number 3, Biker Kid.
Oh, well, yeah.
Let me get rid of this comment.
But how can you not
That
chuckle
little
at that
shit. Look at him. He probably needs slapped.
Is that an e-bike?
Oh, it might be. It's
It
hard,
looks
it's
like it.
hard to
It's like
tell.
a little motorcycle.
Yeah,
It's
possibly.
like a little e-bike.
Cheater.
All right, and then in third place with 12% of the vote, we have Deer Fart.
Oh. See,
You had high hopes for that
I
one,
love
Cory?
deer fart.
I agree with that.
It's hard to say what's going on in that photo, but
Yeah.
nobody else cared.
And we only have 2 left now. It's between Ninja Squirrel and Bear Shitting. And I will announce the first place winner. The first place winner with 68% of the vote. It was a
Whoa.
landslide. We've got Bear Shitting.
Hey, there we go.
Congratulations.
Bear does shit in the woods.
Great
Yeah,
capture. Yeah.
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 All right. So who was that?
That was number 5.
At A Pain.
A Pain.
Yeah. We'll reach out to you for this
So,
massive collection
yeah,
of gear.
the winner at A Pain, you're going to receive a, is it TWO or
Like
two?
Two of these
It looks like it's
Moultrie
part
cameras.
of the, okay. It's like written weird. 2 of the Moultrie Edge 2 cameras. So 2 of those suckers. 2 10-watt solar pack, or is that 10 watt?
10-watt solar power packs.
Power pack.
Nice.
An MKC knife, the sawtooth slicer. You want to show them what that one is?
Well, it's pretty packaged up here.
Oh, then don't worry
Got
about
it
it.
all.
Jeez, man,
fancy up.
this list just this is a long one. The list just keeps going. $250 MeatEater store gift card
Wow.
and a $250 First Light gift card.
Holy cow.
Whoa.
That's $500.
Big I didn't know it was this big.
I didn't either.
I would have submitted a photo.
Does a bear shit in the woods for all that stuff?
Yeah, stay tuned again. We're going to try this again next month and maybe the month after. Sounds
I
like
think we should.
it's kind of fun.
As long as Moultrie's going to kick down and we keep getting cool prizes. All right. Hope you enjoyed it. That's the end of today's show. Join us next week, everyone, and have a great weekend. Take it easy.
Later.